afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay, may I request everyone to please turn on their camera now? Again, may I request everyone to please turn on their camera now? Okay, Gaius, kindly lead today's prayer.
Personal lang po.
Yes po.
Sige po. Let's pray. Lord, Panginoon ko po, we pray to you, O Lord, today na sana maging fruitful po ang araw na to and lahat po ng knowledge na makuha namin ay magbigay po sa amin ng kaalaman, wisdom. And I pray for protection po, O Lord, for today. Especially from the coronavirus to our families and friends, from anything that may harm us, and especially from from evil spirits and demons na maaari pong makambala sa amin. I pray to you, O Lord, for our health, O Lord. Keep us safe and healthy every day, O Lord. And I pray for your guidance for us every day. Ayun po, Panginoon po. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Thank you, Gaius. Good afternoon po.
Afternoon po, ma'am.
Okay, I think that, are we still waiting for some students to join? Mara?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Because I am moving your video, so Feliciana, you're done with the recitation, correct?
Yes po.
As well as ADL Motas, you're done. Okay.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yes. How about Ilagan? You're not yet done, correct? Followed by Leo, then Kirk. Okay. So we'll begin with Ilagan, followed by Mendoza Leo. Is Mendoza Leo around? He is absent, or he's just absent for my class. For my class only?
Wala pa po siya, ma'am. So, hindi ko po alam kung papasok.
Okay, so we'll move. Okay, so it will be Ilagan, followed by Braga, followed by Hans. Okay? Remember, Ilagan, Braga, Hans, followed by Angelo. Okay, so let's begin our oral recitation today, beginning with you, Ilagan. So yesterday, we discussed about weathering, correct?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes, okay, very good. I'm just checking if you're with me. Okay, so we discussed about weathering. Okay, and we also define what is weathering. We also identify that weathering itself cannot work without the aid of erosion. Correct? Now, can you please state to us once again the relationship of weathering and erosion?
Yung relationship of weathering and erosion.
Yes. Again, can you state the relationship of weathering and erosion?
So for weathering, it's the breakdown of materials in the Earth's crust into sediments, while for erosion, it's like one of the weather rocks that is carried by wind, water, gravity, and ice.
Okay, very good. So when we say weathering and its relationship to erosion, weathering it is the breakdown of the rocks into sediments, and these sediments will be transported with the use of what we call the process called erosion through the agent of wind, water, and gravity. Thank you. Ilagan, how are you feeling today?
I'm fine po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay, that's great. Let's move on to Kirk. Hi, Kirk. How are you?
Okay lang po.
Okay, well, that's great. Okay, so my question to you, Kirk. Yesterday we identified that there are two types of weathering. Can you name them?
Mechanical weathering and chemical weathering po.
Okay, the mechanical and the chemical weathering. Can you differentiate the two?
Sa mechanical weathering po, yung pag-breakdown ng rocks sa physical aspect lang po. Pero po sa chemical weathering, yung nagbabago po yung composition ng rocks.
Okay, very good. So when we say again mechanical weathering, it is the physical breakdown of the rocks. So meaning there will only be a change in its physical features, but not on their chemical composition. Whereas when we say chemical weathering, it is now the breakdown of the rocks with, okay, a changes to its chemical composition. Thank you, Kirk. Hans. Hello, Hans.
Yes,
Okay, are you there?
yes.
Okay, why is your camera off today?
Yes.
Oh, it's on already. Thank you, Hans. Okay, question. Yesterday we identified the different agents responsible for mechanical weathering, correct? What are the agents, okay, that is responsible for mechanical weathering?
Mechanical weathering. Wind, water, and temperature.
Yeah, that's correct. Very good. Okay, so the agents that is responsible for mechanical weathering are wind, water, and temperature. Thank you, Hans. Angelo, are you there? Okay, can you give me one example or one processes, okay, in processes in, I think my camera got hung, processes in mechanical weathering. Just give me an example. Come again. One example of mechanical weathering. Okay, frost wedging. Can you describe what happens during frost wedging? Okay, very good. That is frost wedging. When water coming from the rain will go to the fracture of the rock, eventually it freezes, and that is the one which is responsible for the rock to detach from its mother rock. Thank you, Angelo. Let's go to Adrian. After Adrian, Mark Joseph Hernandez, followed by Vinay, and followed by Jeric. Okay? Adrian, are you there?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, why is your camera off today?
Ano ko na lang.
Ayan, great. Okay, Adrian. Angelo mentioned that one of the example of mechanical weathering is frost wedging. Can you still give me another process involved in mechanical weathering?
Root wedging po.
Okay, root wedging, very good. Can you describe what happens during root wedging?
So, sa root wedging po, so yung mga roots galing sa mga plants or trees. So, nag-grow po sila as they grow. Nag-expand po sila sa rock. Tapos, nagkaka-crack po sa mga rock. Tapos, yun po.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. So when we say root wedging, agent here are the roots of the plants. So as the roots of the plants continuously growing, so basically it also expanding, and that is the reason that it can produce a fracture in the rock, and eventually it will break the rock itself. Thank you, Adrian. Hello, Mark Joseph, are you there?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, why is your camera off today?
Wait lang po.
Okay, so we already discussed frost wedging, root wedging. Is there any processes that was not yet mentioned?
Salt
Nakamit.
wedging po.
Salt wedging. Okay, can you please describe what happens during salt wedging?
Wait lang po, ma'am.
Okay.
Salt wedging po, salt solutions from groundwater or from sea spray can accumulate in the pore spaces and fractures of the rocks.
Okay, thank you, MJ. So when we say salt wedging, it is now the salt concentration that is coming from the groundwater or coming from the sea. As it enters in the cracks or fractures of the rock, it eventually crystallizes. Okay, and as it crystallizes, that will be the reason that the rock will be breaking down. Okay, so I hope that MJ can remain his camera on. Thank you. Hi, Vinay, how are you?
Hi, ma'am. I'm doing wonderful po.
Okay, that's great. And it seems like your internet is cooperating today. Okay, so Vinay, there are still two processes describe this.
Ma'am, there is thermal expansion, which occurs when the rock goes through high temperature, which will cause its outer layer to go through baking. So when it goes through cooling, the outer layer will contract, which will allow the rocks to break off into sheets.
Okay, very good. Thermal expansion is the same like baking. Okay, technically speaking, when we are baking, there will be a high temperature that is needed. So as the rocks undergo thermal expansion, its surface is exposed to the high temperature. And so this outer layer of the rock will undergo baking. But once it cools down, this outer layer will contract. Okay? And once it contracts, it makes, or it will be the reason, okay, for the surface of the rock to break off or it will be forming into sheets. Okay? Thank you, Venice. Okay? Jerry. Hi,
Hi po, ma'am.
Jerry. Ayan, so pag nag-cooperate na si computer sa
Yeah.
iyo. Okay? So, we already mentioned frost wedging, salt wedging, root wedging, thermal expansion. Did we miss anything?
Yun na po ata, yun eh. Wait lang. Opo, yun na po ata. Or meron pa isa?
Sure. I think we are missing someone.
Ano po, ma'am? Thermal expansion? Or not?
Done?
Gravitational impact, no? Hindi ba yun?
No. That will be an agent. Okay?
Exfoliation po ba, ma'am?
Very good. Exfoliation. Now, can you
Malinaw.
describe what
Ano po,
happens?
ma'am? Ano po? Yung exfoliation po is ano po? Intrusive rocks po, such as granite, usually split into onion-like opo, usually split into onion-like sheets parallel. Ay, wait lang po. Hindi ko po alam, ma'am. Hindi ko po ito ma-define ng haba. Wait lang po. Try ko na lang po ulit. Ano
Sige.
po, ito po, granitic rocks formed by cooling magma underground and ano po, later exposed by uplift and erosion.
Okay, thank you. So when we say exfoliation, okay, so the rock that is exposed, okay, there will be less pressure on it and eventually it will expand. And as it expand, it will be now the reason why, tulad ng sinabi ni Cherry kanina, there will be like an onion-like sheets, okay, on its surface. And eventually, this will form into a dome. Okay, thank you. Now, for the next, we have Nathaniel, followed by Margarita, followed by Emmanuel. Emmanuel, are you done with the recitation?
Hindi pa po.
Okay, Emmanuel, followed by Renz, and then we have Joseph. Okay. So yesterday we ended up with a physical or mechanical weathering. Okay, Nathaniel. Hello, Nathaniel.
Hello po, ma'am.
Okay, how are you?
Okay lang naman po, kayo po.
Okay, I'm doing good. Okay, Nathaniel, we were discussing mechanical weathering, but when we are discussing mechanical weathering, we identify that some of the agents here are water. We also have temperature involved and wind. Now, my question to you, Nathaniel, do you think that there is a human activity that can contribute to mechanical weathering? Or let me rephrase the question. Can human being be an agent for mechanical weathering? Yes or no?
Ah, pe, ah, yes po.
Yes
Siguro.
po. Okay. Why did you say yes?
Kasi kapag, wait lang po. Base po doon sa na-research ko, human activities daw po are responsible for mechanical weathering by digging or blasting into rock to build homes, roads, subways, or to quarry stone. So, bale parang sinasabi po kapag yung mga humans po, ano yun? Kapag yung humans po ginagamit yung resources ng earth po. Ganun.
Okay. Thank you, Nathaniel. Very good. Human being can also be an agent of mechanical weathering because as we dig, okay, simple as digging, we are also affecting the physical property of the rocks. Okay. So just like what Nathaniel mentioned, that's a very good example. When we dig, as we build our shelter or our home, we are also responsible or an agent for the mechanical weathering. Thank you. Margarita, hello, how are you?
Hi, ma'am. I'm fine po. Thank you.
Okay, so let's proceed now to chemical weathering. So we said that during chemical weathering, we alter its chemical composition, correct? We are affecting the chemical composition. Now, my question to you, Margarita, in what place or let's say what climate, ayan, what climate do you think so that the chemical reaction will be faster?
Chemical reaction po. Ma'am, it can be a specific example na lang po I can dun po sa activity na ginawa natin. Yun po, the bike po, the activity with the bike. Probably po nangyayari po madalas yun sa mga places na may ulan and malakas po yung hangin to the point po na yung mga metal po sa places na yun nagre-react po dun sa rain tsaka po sa wind. Yun po.
Okay, very good. You have a concrete example. Very good. Now, the chemical reaction is faster when you are in a tropic area. Okay, tropical area. When we say tropical area, Philippines is a very good example because we are only experiencing two seasons. We have the wet and dry season. So basically, chemical reaction is faster it occurs faster in a wet and warm climate. And an example is the Philippines. Just like Margarita mentioned, a very good example is we're in a bicycle that you left outside and there will be a rain. Basically, after the rain, here comes the sunshine, and you can observe that this rain causes a chemical reaction to the bicycle because eventually you will observe that there is a rust color. Okay, thank you, Margarita. Again, Emmanuel, Renz, and Joseph, get ready, followed by Nicole. Jairus, you are done with the, right?
Opo, ma'am.
You're done, right? Yeah. Nicole, Ahmad, Gaius, Kyle, Carl, Keisha, Angelica, and lastly, we have Gwen Cortez. Okay? Ayan. So, sino nga yung una kong tinawag? Nakalimutan ko na agad. Okay, Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hi po, ma'am.
Okay, how are you?
Okay lang po.
Okay. Emmanuel, my question, why is your camera off?
Mabagal po yung internet.
Okay, understandable. My question to you, Emmanuel, is based on the video that we watched yesterday, What do you think so are the agents responsible for chemical weathering?
Water and wind po ba?
Water and wind?
Agents po.
Agents po.
Yung erosion po.
Like it said, ganito po. Sa mechanical weathering, we said that wind, water, and what they call that, temperature, these are the agents responsible for mechanical weathering. How about in chemical weathering? Who is responsible or who are the agents involved here?
Weathering and erosion po.
Diba we said water, okay, in mechanical, I'm pertaining on mechanical. Water is one of the agents for mechanical weathering because, okay, when the water goes to the fracture of the rock, it freezes, then it will break down. How about in chemical weathering? Or do you want to just answer my question later on? A new question na lang?
Hindi po. Yung water, air po.
Okay, water, air. Ano pong meron sa air?
Mag-rust po pag nag-meet yung water.
Mag-rust. Okay, so when the water, okay, will meet, okay, ito na lang, Emmanuel, para mas madali. What causes acid rain? What causes acid rain?
Yung yung oxygen po pag nag-meet sa water. Tapos maano po yung rocks.
Okay, very good. So acid rain is one of the agents for chemical weathering. And what Emmanuel mentioned, it is wherein the water will react to the oxygen gas, okay, or in the present on the air. Thank you, Emmanuel. Renz.
Yes po.
Okay, there is still, I think, one agent that was mentioned in the video yesterday. Can you recall that?
Air po ba? Ay, sabi na po ba? Or...
How about the reason why there is a rust?
Dahil po sa water.
Water and?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Okay, thank you. Now, these are the different processes involved in chemical weathering. We have dissolution, hydrolysis, oxidation, hydration, biological weathering. Joseph, what can you describe what happens during this solution?
Okay. Dito po yung like nagre-react po yung acid sa mga bato tapos like nabubutasan po, naglilib po ng mga pits. Tapos dinidissolve po yung mga bato, parang ganun po.
Okay, thank you. So in a dissolution, it is happening when minerals of the rock, okay, remember that the building blocks of rocks are minerals. So this happen when minerals inside the rock will react or will dissolve in water. Specifically, we say that the water is already containing acids, okay? And these acids are from the dissolved carbon dioxide that is found on the Earth's atmosphere. Now, this water, which is containing carbon dioxide or dissolved carbon dioxide, will react to the minerals present in the rock. So eventually, it will dissolve, okay, the minerals from the rock. And that, once it dissolves, okay, these rocks or these minerals rather will form cavities in the rock. Now, these cavities will be the reason, okay, tulad ng sinabi ni Panuela kanina or Joseph, that it will generate um, some other rocks, okay, such as what is present on the cave, the stalactites and stalagmites. Nicole, hi Nicole.
Hello po.
Okay, how are you?
Okay lang po.
Okay lang. Are you familiar with stalactites and stalagmites?
Hindi po gaano.
Di po gaano. Okay, so later na lang kitang i-ask. Okay? So this is an example of a limestone that is present in the cave. Now, when this limestone, okay, reacts or undergo dissolution, it will form a stalagmites and stalactites. Now, what is the difference between the two? Ahmad, are you familiar with stalagmites and stalactites?
Medyo po.
Okay, can you describe what is a stalagmite?
Either or the other po. Yung isa po nasa cave ceilings, parang spikes. Tapos yung isa po galing sa floor.
Okay, very good. Stalagmite, okay, listen. The stalagmite, this is now a rock formation that is coming from the floor of the cave. Tulad ng sinabi ni Ahmad. That is stalagmite. Okay? Stalactite, on the other hand, these are the rock formation that are found from the ceiling of the cave. Okay? Did you write it on your notebook? Again, when we say stalagmite, these are the rock formation that is usually found from the floor of the cave. And stalactites, on the other hand, these are the rock formation that usually found from the ceiling of a cave. Thank you. Okay, Nicole, next process we have hydrolysis. Can you describe what is happening during hydrolysis?
Ma'am, sa pagkakaintindi ko po is yung breakdown, yung chemical breakdown po siya ng compound due to the reaction po ng water.
Okay, so when we say hydrolysis, it occurs when the water reacts with the minerals and breaks them down. The process occurs faster in slightly acidic water. Gaius.
Yes po.
Hi po.
Hi po.
Okay. Gaius, when we are analyzing the definition of dissolution and hydrolysis, it seems like that there is a confusion because when we say dissolution, it happens when minerals of the rock dissolve in water. Whereas in hydrolysis, it is also when the water reacts with the minerals and break them down. Question, is there a difference between dissolution and hydrolysis?
Doon po sa sa dissolution is yung may pure water and acidic water po. And dun sa hydrolysis po, acidic water po yung sa para ma-dissolve a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. But I think in the dissolution, there is also presence of acidic water.
Yes.
Ito na lang, para mas madali. Ano po yung nabubuo ng dissolution and ano po yung nabubuo ng hydrolysis? Because that is one of the difference of the two.
Yung sa dissolution po, it forms caves through time, and while the hydrolysis po, it forms various types of clay minerals.
Okay, very good. So the difference between the two, it is the product that they get. When we say dissolution, the products are the stalagmite and the stalactites that you can find inside the cave. But in hydrolysis, it is the formation of a different clay materials. Thank you, Gaius. Let's proceed to Kyle. Okay. Kyle, let's have oxidation, please.
Sabi po sa book, oxidation or the reaction of oxygen with minerals in the rock forms oxides po.
Okay, so oxidation is the reaction of the oxygen with the minerals present in the rocks. So eventually, okay, when this happen, that will be okay. The physical aspect, let's go to the physical aspect. It will change its color into rust. Okay, thank you, Kyle. Let's have hydration. Carl Aspera, are you there? Carl?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what happens during hydration?
Uh, the act or process of combining or treating with water. Ma'am. Yun po.
Come again?
The act or process of combining or treating with water.
Treating with water. Okay. So hydration is the process wherein the water will be absorbed in the crystal structure of the mineral. Now this water will get inside the crystal structure of the mineral that is found on the rocks, and eventually it will expand. Okay, so the water that is present, okay, on the crystal structure of the mineral will be the one who is responsible for it to expand, and eventually it will change its type of minerals that is present and the type of rock as well. Keisha, let's have the biological weathering. Hello? Hello? Okay, I think I will just get back to you. Hindi po kita naririnig, so just fix your audio first and I'll get back to you. Angelica, can you describe what happens during biological weathering?
Sabi po sa book nangyayari po siya sa plants na kapag yung mga fungi, yung mga ganun po, is sila po yung nagdi-dissolve ng mga minerals. Tapos, yung mga nutrients doon is taken in by the organisms. Tapos, sabi rin sa research na it is caused by animals and plants na nagre-release sila ng some kind of acid forming chemicals causing the breaking down of the rocks.
Okay, very good. Basically, when we say biological, we're pertaining to the living organisms. And these living organisms are the plants and animals that was mentioned by Angelica. Now, this biological weathering is a special type of weathering for chemical because there is now the involvement of plants and animals. Now, once these plants and animals will, rather the plants, the roots of the plants are growing, basically there is the presence of fungi and lichens on the soil. Now, this fungi and lichens is the one who is responsible to secrete an organic acid that is coming from the plant roots. And eventually, these organic acids that were secreted will dissolve the minerals. Tulad ng sinabi ni Angelica, these organic minerals, or rather organic acids, are the ones that is coming from the plants and animals. And that is the reason wherein there is changes, okay, on the chemical composition of the rocks, because basically it is very important in the soil formation. Gwen, let's conclude our topic.
Hello
Gwen,
po. Hello po.
yan, rinig kita. Why is it that weathering is important?
Why
Nakakagutom
do I
naman yung background mo.
I'll turn it up, don't worry. Why do I think weathering is important? Well, for one, if we are talking about weathering, that means we still have an atmosphere and gravity still works. So for some types of weathering, such as oxidation, which creates rust, it means that we still have an atmosphere and we could still breathe in this world that we call Earth. So when oxidation happens, wait, I gotta. Is that a reasonable answer?
Yes. Okay. I will
Yes.
accept that as a. You can turn on your camera because I want to look at your virtual background. Okay. Ayan, that's my
I
favorite
don't want you to be
girl.
hungry, ma'am.
No, it's okay. I'm full.
Okay.
Okay. That's my favorite curls. Okay. So basically, it is very important because technically, when there is a weathering, tulad ng sinabi ni Gwen, basically, we still have our Earth's atmosphere. Okay. Kisha, do you want to add on that answer? Why is it weathering important? I think I cannot still hear you. You can just type your answer on the chat box. Now, for the quiz on Monday, coverage will be weathering. Okay, basically, you can use your book as your source of information because um, the PowerPoint presentation or the slides that I have is coming from the book. So we have weathering, okay, ecosystem services, okay, the ecosystem services that I presented last meeting, okay, will also be part of your quiz, as well as, okay, that's it. That will be the two topics that I'll be including in your quiz. Okay, ecosystem services as well as weathering. Okay, so with that, okay, I'll see you on Monday for your quiz. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. No pressure for you to study. Okay, so let's call it a day and I'll see you all next week. Goodbye, everyone.